Streaming and recording.
I'm talking to you, bro.
I'm not talking to you, bro. That ought to be the name of my podcast. I'm not talking to
No,
you,
I'm
bro.
not talking to you, bro.
He's just completely silent the whole time. I like
I'm not talking to you, bro.
We asked a question and I said, I'm not talking to you,
I'm
bro.
not talking to you, bro.
They tried to answer.
Who are you talking to? None of your fucking business.
All right, let's shoot the crap about corn.
Yeah, well, we're already live.
Perfect.
Welcome
Courtney.
back to Eerie Horror Fest 2022. And we are doing another one of these live sessions. And we have some amazing guests with us today. We have Courtney Gaines and John Philbin. You might know them from a little movie called Children of the Corn.
You probably know them from other things as well, but
And
today
from
we'll
other
be
stuff.
focusing
Yeah,
on Children
yeah.
of the Corn.
Today we're talking about Children of the Corn. Like I know you also from like the Burbs, and you told George McFly to scram.
That's right. That's right.
Scram,
Graham flag cutting in.
So, yeah, how does this type of movie, especially you guys were on the younger end. Now, I'm sure you were much older than represented in the movie, but how does this movie get on your radar? Is this just another audition situation, or how do you guys come across this?
Go first. Go first.
Okay, I'll go first. It was the first movie I ever filmed. It was not my first audition. I'd been auditioning. I was about 80 and 0 in LA, but I got this great movie that was going to change the world, change my life. I finally hit it big, and I was going to film it in Pontiac, Illinois, and I had 4 weeks before I had to go to work.
What was the name of that film?
Nobody knows. And so my agent sent me up for this small, independent, low-budget horror movie, Children of the Corn, just so I could have some experience working in front of a camera, learning how to hit a mark, lighting, all that's it's very technical work.
Yeah.
I was an acting major, but it was theater stuff. So I went to do my very first movie. I had a little window, and I went and auditioned with the casting directors. Fritz Kirsch saw the tape, and I got to go, oh, great, I get to do 2 movies? Great, I'm going to go do this Children of the Corn that no one's going to see, a low-budget thing where
Yeah, no one's ever going to watch it.
no one's ever going to see it.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go do an important film with a big cast, which
Right.
was huge cast, and really emotional, powerful movie. It's going to change the world. So I got this, I did this, and then I went and did that other movie. And I'm talking about Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
The other movie's called Grandview USA. What I'd like to say is it's an underrated movie, which underrated just means underappreciated, which means it hasn't become a cult classic like Children of the Corn. But it's a great
you
movie.
also were in Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, Return of the Living Dead is also a cult horror movie. Yeah, I'm going to do this little movie. The actors are on strike in the union. Wait, I'm not done yet. I'm talking about me now. You've done a lot of huge movies. This is a little nothing, movie that no one's ever going to see. Don't drop in on me, bro. That no one's ever going to see.
Surfer references. Yes, sir.
No one's ever going to see this weirdo movie. They're going to see what they're all going to see is Shy People, the movie I'm doing next. With Barbara Hershey and Jill Clayburgh and Martha Plimpton.
Yeah.
That's going to be a huge fucking serious hit. That's going to change my life. I still fly all over the world for Return of the Living Dead, which is
Right.
a cult classic.
I
and
love
people
Return of the Living
tattoo it
Dead.
on their bodies.
Yeah.
And no one's talking about Shy People. So you just don't. These horror movies, horror fans are the greatest fans in the world.
They're dedicated.
Thank you, God.
That's what I was going to chime in and say is that in the 80s, horror movies were considered B movies, and critics didn't like them and it wasn't taken seriously. Nobody knew that there was going to become
Right.
such a hardcore sci-fi group and such a hardcore horror fans and conventions. Nobody saw all this coming.
Right.
So there was no way we knew this was going to happen. That people were going to be talking about Children of the Corn 38 years later. There's just no way.
Well, it was funny because we were doing our episodes. We were batch recording episodes yesterday, and we were talking about Scream. And I was explaining to John. I said, for me, the 80s and even the 70s too. Horror movies were not dictated by how much money they're automatically going to make. There was like a spark to them. They had originality to them.
It was completely independent.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah. And then I automatically said Scream was kind of the inflection point where it became now. Well, how much money is this thing
I
going to
would
make?
totally agree with that. Yeah.
Thank you. See, it's not just me.
And what was you? What did you think it was?
Well, I mean, we were doing a thing about Scream where I didn't think that Scream absolutely destroyed horror movies as he apparently
I
does.
did. Yeah.
He said destroy, but he said inflection point.
Inflection point that led to destruction.
Whereas you could say Jaws also was a line crosser back then because that was the first big creature film that made a shit ton of money that wasn't considered
the
a
first
B
Roger
movie
Corman
back
movie
in
that
the
wasn't
day.
Roger Corman.
Correct.
Yep.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Same kind of thing.
So when you get cast now, you could argue that that you're maybe not the star that could be, But
I don't understand that sentence.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
He's trying to say kindly that I'm a character actor.
Oh,
Yeah.
you act. You,
No, all I mean is
Like
you
Mark
know,
Ruffalo.
did you kind of think to
he's
yourself?
an actor. He plays characters.
No, I'm a character who plays actors, I guess.
What do you think, like, oh wait, I'm the star of this movie, like kind of the antagonist, but also the protagonist, because the villains are kind of the heroes in the movie. Like, what did it feel to be like the main character?
Are you talking about a corn?
Children of the Corn, yeah.
I don't think I understood any of that at that point. I just knew. I think what I was the number two, the henchman.
Yeah.
And the good thing about henchmen, looking back in hindsight, is they get to have all the fun, right?
Yeah.
It's like the one guy goes and is very serious, usually gives orders, right? Which is John Franklin's character. And my character's guy gets to go execute all the psycho stuff, right? So it's just a fun role.
Well, I mean, especially in Children of the Corn, like your character Malachai is terrifying. Like everyone in the town, like,
I killed
is-
the cop,
You
right?
killed the
You're
cop.
a badass dude if you're a teenager who
And
like
even when-
wasted the cop,
Yeah,
right?
and even
that
like
gives
all
you
the
serious-
drawings show you with the knife.
But that
killing
gives you
him.
serious credibility, right?
Yeah.
He's the dude. He killed the blue man. Don't f with him, right? You know?
Yeah.
And what does it feel like knowing that you're adapting a Stephen King thing, or at that age was that even on your radar? Like, holy shit, this is Stephen King's story.
Well, we were aware of Stephen King, but Stephen King even wasn't the Stephen King he is
Right.
now, right? So
Yeah,
again, it's sort of like, okay, Stephen King, that's cool. I didn't realize, we really rode on that dude's coattails all this time. So, because you just got bigger and bigger and bigger. You know what I'm saying? So we've been riding on Stephen coattails, his coattails for almost 40 years.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephen.
And what was it like with the difference of obviously there were multiple age groups on this film? What was it, how was that on set when there was like really little kids and probably adults portraying teenagers?
Because he's asked me a bunch of questions. Get in there.
Yeah.
Because let's see, I didn't get to work with all these guys and all those little kids. I had one scene out in the corn at night where I sacrificed myself. That was one night.
You aged out of the corn.
I aged out, man. I was too old. I was 23 years old when I made the movie, I think, and I was playing
19?
You're
19?
playing 18 and going to 19. Because
Yeah.
they said at 19, that's when you got to die.
Oh, okay, thanks. So that's not
filling it in for
that's
you.
not that big of a. That's not that
19,
big of
you're
an
aged out. You're
You're
dead.
out. It's over. Die. You're old. So I, I was one day, I was pretty much my own thing. I never interacted much with anyone except for he who walks behind the rose. These guys were in the scenes, but I was a sacrificial lamb, so it wasn't like I had dialogue other than it's my birthday, with anyone.
So here was the interesting thing that Fritz did. He'll never quite tell me he did this, but I know because he did it. He had me do it, so I'm pretty damn sure he had Peter Horton do it to me. He basically said, "Don't be nice to the kids." Whereas John Franklin says he had a swimming relationship with them. He specifically told me, like, be a little standoffish to them, and so I did. It was my first film. But I think either Peter Horton is just standoffish, or in fact, he told Peter Horton to be standoffish to me because he was like that with me. So because obviously we got a big fight at the end and everything. So I think he kind of had us kind of squaring off against each other the whole time. So just to create a little tension amongst us on the set. I guess it worked.
If you watch the movie, Peter Horton's a dick to his wife.
He really is.
He's actually a dick to everyone in the movie. He's just a
True.
fucking dick.
He's
And
a Stephen
I-
King
and
character.
I,
He's a Stephen
maybe
King
that was a choice from the reading, but I doubt Fritz, because I asked Fritz when we saw it. I go, Fritz, did you tell him just to be a dickhead to everyone, an angry Chad in every scene? And he goes, no, I didn't. He just came up with that himself. It's like,
There you go.
and I was like, is he like that in real life? He goes, kind of, maybe. I don't know. He's just always been a dick to me.
I could tell you I auditioned for he was one of the producers on Grey's Anatomy the first couple seasons, and I came in and he grabbed my resume and he looked at it and then he said, "Oh, you still have it on your resume. Good for you."
Dick.
I'm just telling you what he said.
Are you serious?
Dead
Really?
serious.
Wow.
What a dick.
Yeah.
I didn't say it. But.
And he's not very good in the movie. He's just such an angry guy. Well, so when you said he's a Stephen King character, is that something about Stephen King he'll write about just an angry guy that
Male
nobody
characters,
likes?
you
They're
end
always
up being
yeah,
assholes.
angry. They're
Yeah.
always the new doctor in town or the writer with a drinking problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
in-
maybe he
in-
did know that.
Well, in the sci-fi remake, in the short story they were supposed to battle, the woman was horrible. Like she did the sci-fi remake, and by the time she got killed, you're like, thank God, like get rid of her. Like she was so mean to her husband in it.
Yeah.
But that's not a good move because you got to have your lead characters. You have to have
You have
be
to have some
sympathetic,
sort
be
of
cheering for them,
sympathy,
right?
Yes. Yeah.
But I think that's what they didn't anticipate again in this terms, like we're talking about horror fans. Horror fans cheer
for
for
the
me and
monster.
Sean Franklin, right? Like,
Yeah.
like because that's horror fans, right?
Well, like we were saying yesterday, we're like, do we yell Outlander? We have your woman. Like, do we want to?
I know you were tempted over there.
We were
But this is
really
your chance.
tempted.
This is your chance.
Outlander, we have your woman. Cheers.
Well done, boys. Well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you. Thank you. We're just like, we don't want to be those assholes who are just, because we know you probably get that all the time, or you get,
People
you
used
know,
to yell it to me like in driving by in cars, and, in malls, and so it doesn't happen as much as it used to, but it was quite overwhelming when the film first came out. The response that we got, I mean, kids would run to their parents crying. I mean, stuff that I just did not anticipate. It was pretty overwhelming.
you go to
It was
like a
just
Dairy Queen and suddenly you're just like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
that's Malachai.
yeah, I'm serious. Like stuff like how John Franklin tells stories, same thing. Like this, it was like we did not realize this was going to have such the impact it did.
Right. Right. Now I do gotta ask you. Children of the Corn has become kind of a culturally relevant movie. We look at that, and you even see it like in South Park. South Park did kind of a parody of.
Oh no,
that.
not kinda.
It
Straight
was
up. Straight up.
Yeah,
It was straight up.
Did you see it?
Oh yeah, people called me and said you have to see it.
What'd you think about that?
Oh, it was great. I was like, I was flattered. I mean, it's amazing. No, I mean, it's part of the cultural lexicon at this point.
Insurance company with that really famous girl.
Yeah, they did
come out of the corn.
they did a whole reference to that. Yeah, two
like
two
Flo,
Halloween seasons
right?
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Flo comes out of the corn.
Yeah.
Again, and it's sort of like the
Children of
mentality is
corn.
maybe not everyone will get this joke, but the ones
Yeah.
that are going to get it are going to love it, and they put it in. Yeah, it's still out there.
Yeah.
I mean, still being referenced in pop culture to this day. It's amazing.
And when did you first notice that? When did it say like, oh man, people are referencing this? People want me to come to conventions. Like people are asking, when's the next one? When did it become like, oh, this is a cultural phenomenon? This movie I thought I was gonna make and move on and never think of again.
You should answer that, and then I'll put my little 2 cents in.
All right. So I think conventions was when it really started to become super clear. Right. I mean, I knew it was a thing I was recognized for sure, but it was sort of pre-internet in a lot of, so I didn't realize, like that and The Burbs, for example. I didn't realize like how many people like love these flicks, and so conventions I started doing, I don't know, maybe 15, 16 years ago, and I think that's when it started to like really get clear. Like Fritz, this is only his first year doing stuff with us.
Really?
He'd gotten letters before and things like that, but he is blown away by like the fan base of
The
these
love.
things. Yeah, the love.
It's a great thing, yeah. So, and me too. I'm late to this party, but I've been involved in some other movies that are culty. So I knew that with the internet and with the cable and all that, I started going to conventions for Return of the Living Dead, and but this is my first year with Children of the Corn. First year, like hanging out with these guys, and it's bitching.
we're getting the band back together.
That's
I
how
like
I
it.
feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
Mick Jagger. And
Speaking
Keith
of that,
Richards
have you seen
of
the
horror
meme
movies.
of the shot where it's like they're when we're looking, she's on the cross, and it's like so there's like 4 of us around looking down, and it says "Greatest grunge band you never heard of." That's a killer.
like that.
That is a killer meme. It looks like a record album.
Yeah,
I was
it
like, I never
does.
thought of that. That's so smart.
So what are the odds? With Halloween 2018, all that. What not any kind of sequel number, but just how they do it now. What about Children of the Corn, like 2024, 2025? What are the odds?
Well, yeah, 2024 is going to be the 40th anniversary. So if they were going to do something, that would be smart.
Could be something where you guys could all play the adults now.
Yeah. Yep. And John Franklin did 666. He brought his character back and he co-wrote it. So it's been done once. There was a little talk of me doing something on that. Didn't happen. There was a little talk on the sci-fi thing. I was supposed to do a cameo, and then I got stuck in weather in Florida and couldn't make it. And so there's been a couple moments where I was going to be involved in the franchise again. It just hasn't happened. So maybe we're saving it for the 40th anniversary.
Hell yeah.
And I'll be like,
Yeah.
don't go out in the corn, kids.
Who owns the franchise?
Oh gosh, Arrow seems to have 1 through 3 now because I just saw sign something for that right now. But Lakeshore owns the rights to the screening we'll be seeing tonight or
Okay.
whatever, and they charge an arm and a leg. Apparently, that's why it doesn't get screened more. They charge like 4 times more for a screening than normal prints.
Just
for
no
some-
Weinstein's, no Dimension.
I think when John Franklin did it, it was Dimension. I don't know if they still have some of them or not. I don't know. It's bounced around a bunch.
But awesome. What sort of work have you all done now? Are you still acting?
You want?
Courtney's a full-time actor. Yeah, I've been teaching surfing for like and dog walking for like 25 years, but I just started acting again, and I'm really
getting back
close
out
to
there.
a bunch of
Awesome.
projects.
Getting
I've got a
back out
couple of
there.
projects in development around
Are you able
town.
to talk about them? Are you able to talk about them at all?
I can't really talk about them because I don't want to jinx them. But
Okay, fair enough.
fingers crossed.
So I had a movie come out beginning of the year called Hellblazer. Not the greatest movie, but a bunch of recognizable horror folks in that.
Yeah.
I did a movie earlier this year called Revenge of Becky. There was a movie called Becky that came out in 2020 that was a big drive-in hit kind of
Yeah.
action horror-ish thing. So we just did. So that's coming out 2023. Just had a guest star on it's an anthology for BET called Tales, where I played a really bad cop. He's
Great work.
Yeah, he gives.
That was gnarly.
kind of cool and different for me. People don't see me. You know,
Was
playing-
it really?
I-
'Cause
I-
you're
I've
good
never-
at that.
Thanks.
You-
No, I
that
have-
could be a thing.
maybe it will now. Maybe I got some tape to prove it. That's
Yeah.
all you ever need.
You've got
right?
the look, and you
And,
really
uh,
handled that. Like you're like a prejudiced racist person in general, right?
In real life, yeah.
Because you
With
killed
my
Anna
mixed son.
You're,
Yeah.
you're a corrupt Southern cop-like guy.
I look like a cracker. There's no doubt.
Cracker. Yeah, no, you were great in that.
So yes, and I just did I can't say what it is, but a rock star. I just did a video thing that's going to be coming out in December. That look. I don't even know what my character looks like yet, so I'm excited. But I had a blast doing it. It was a lot
What do you
of
mean
fun.
you don't know what your character look like?
I don't have no clue. It's a animation.
cartoon. Oh.
Animation,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Rockstar Video. I'm sorry, Rockstar Video Games. Yeah, big.
Okay.
Oh,
you know,
cool.
Big.
Yeah,
Grand
like Grand Theft Auto and all
yeah,
that.
all-
Yeah,
all-
yeah.
those guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Just did that. So just keeping busy.
And one final thing here, and John, I know you pointed out yourself that you were only there for a short period of time, so I'll point this towards you. Do you have a favorite scene, either to shoot or when you saw the film, you said, "Wow, that really worked," or "I looked super awesome," or
right. It's not the favorite scene. Favorite thing was getting to watch the explosion. Like I stayed up all night, and I think I got sick. It was so freezing out there, but I'd never seen an explosion before. That was my first
Right.
movie, so to stay up and watch them blow the shit out of this
Right.
cornfield, that was awesome. It lived up to the hype. That was awesome. Favorite scene I always tell people is when I come in and say, we want to give you peace. And the reason I think is I learned as an actor, the less is more. Because so much of the stuff I was doing was like over the top and intense.
Yeah.
But probably the most chilling moment to me was when I was just really calm and gave that little creepy smile and said, we want to give you peace. I thought that was the most chilling moment for me. So I learned, as an actor, less is more.
For me, it was during the scene when they're playing Monopoly and your knife just hits because you have this very innocent game of Monopoly. You already know that these kids are not supposed to be doing it. They're dressed in their parents' old clothes, which is already weird because they're dead. And they're playing the game and they're talking about you and they're talking about Isaac and say, here's Isaac, and then boom, knife comes down and we just look up at you. That right there was fucking terrifying. Like that for me was what my favorite.
I'm kind of a methody type actor, and so when I'd get called in the trailer and we'll walk through this sort of thing into the cornfield or sort of cut out this area, I'd be getting in character. By the time I got there, I'd just be totally psyched up, right? And then Fritz, the director, would be like, okay, so you're going to walk here and you're going to say this. And he'd be looking at me. I'd just be like, you understand, Courtney? I'd be like, yeah, just roll. Yeah, because I was all in already. He'd be looking at me like, "Is this dude like what's wrong with this dude?" You know,
he's really gonna kill one of these
but
adults.
that's why I wish I was one of those actors who'd be like, "Hi, how you doing?" Action, I'm dead in, but I'm not. I'm a kind of like a guy who likes to psych himself up to go play the football game. You know what I mean? I got to get myself in the state of mind to do the job.
Awesome.
So
well, please tell me it was catering, method catering. It was just cream corn corn
my God.
chowder.
Had to have a corn reference, right?
Popcorn, yeah.
I'll forever be associated to corn and corn jokes. It's impossible to not get out of it.
But
And my name was Courtney, and people even, I live in a Chicano neighborhood, they call you Corny. So she was already destined,
God, yeah.
So
Every Halloween, a pile of a
corn
couple
was
ears of
already
corn
coming.
just show
It
up
was
on your
already coming.
doorstep.
Yep.
Awesome.
Well, guys, can't thank you enough for
Hey,
coming.
absolute
and
pleasure.
just shooting
Pleasure.
the bull and
Easy.
keeping it real.
It's
And
pretty horrible. I just want to let you guys know.
I imagine that's what we get every time we do an
Are
interview.
you going to
We
be
gotta
at the
work on this,
screening
Mike.
tonight, you guys?
Are you guys coming to the screening?
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah, we'll
Good.
do a screening for it.
Yeah, that'll be fun because Fritz gives a lot of
Should be
insights and stuff, so it'll be good.
Yeah.
So there obviously is a screening at the Eerie Horror Fest
Tonight, 8 p.m. Be there.
8 p.m. tonight,
Be
which
there.
is Friday.
Friday, yes.
So make sure you're out to that. But look, if you can't make it out to Eerie Horror Fest, you can find Children of the Corn on the internet.
It's almost sold out. There's a few tickets left. Get on down here.
Yeah. So check it out and check out all of the rest of their work because, those royalties don't just come in out of nowhere. So
That's
check
right.
out their work. Make sure you pay for it. These guys can get paid. They're good people. And, appreciate it.
Thanks for that
Yeah,
review.
thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
See ya.
Yeah.